So welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and I'm a gorilla in the wrist. Today we are looking at this Vario solar watch, a pretty modern take for a Vario watch, I think you'll agree, and asking the question whether I can really recommend it to you. Let's get into it, shall we? So before we do a walk around the watch, I thought we'd just do the basic dimensions and specifications. So this is the Vario 1945 A11S Solar. The dial width is 40mm. It has a 48mm lug to lug and a lug width of 20mm, so you'll be able to find plenty of straps for it. Is a very thin 9.5mm due to the solar Miyota 2170 movement. It has a very nice flat sapphire crystal, 50 meters of water resistance, and weighs in at a very paltry 50 grams. So today we're looking at this Vario 1945 A11S. This one is a solar in the eagle grey colour scheme. They're around £150 and come in 3 different colours. We'll stick a picture up so you can see them. I wanted to try the grey one because, to be honest, I don't have many grey coloured watches. But it arrived in this Vario packaging. Again, I need to say a big thank you to Ivan at Vario, who has allowed this one to come out to the channel. I don't have to return this, but arrives in these really nice travel cases. Even the little pull on the zipper is branded with Vario. Just really nicely done. And in terms of what you get inside, this is what I think of as egg box styly. So we have the watch, which comes on this really nice Cordura, black Cordura style strap. Just very quickly, what else you get in the box? So you get a nicely branded Vario microfiber. We have guarantee card, signed and dated. Don't often see those. Always from Vario, but don't always see those. Again with the little folded paper bird emblem on it. You're going to see that a few times. There's a little bit of a story there as well, explaining the significance of some of the elements of the watch, and the case itself. And it did come with a little sticky label that I've not stuck on anything yet. But that's how it arrives. In terms of the watch head itself, we have a 40mm dial. It's 48mm lug to lug. So it's not a small watch. There is a 35mm option for those who are looking for something that matches the aesthetic, because this is very clearly a World War II inspired watch. And I suspect in World War II there weren't 40mm, they were probably close to 35. But this one has 20mm lug width, and it's a really thin 9.5mm, and that's predominantly because this watch houses the Miyota 2170 solar movement, but essentially in terms of charging the solar, that the charging strip is around the rehote actually. You can kind of see it a little bit, but it's a spiral of wire in there. And in direct sunlight it will charge up in about 2 hours fully. Differs if you're in different environments, and again we'll stick a little chart up here to show the sort of the charging times for it, just for information I guess. But really nice movement. We have this, I particularly like this silver textured dial. Really nice. There's a minute track around the outside. We have a little red triangle right at the very top on the minute track. We then have Arabic numerals from 12 all the way around. We have very, very simple, I'm going to say leaf hands because I think they are leaf hands, nicely loomed, and we'll come on to loom shots later, so you'll see the quality of the loom in there. But nice. I like the black, punchy black outline, because I think that really works against what's quite a pale dial. All of the numbers are painted on. These are not embossed, and we have And in terms of the finishing on the case, on the sides we have a really nice brushing. Very pleased that we have drilled lugs as well. It's very useful. Although to be fair, the watch itself does come on quick replacement spring bars. But I think the drilled lugs are always a nice touch. We have a crown at the 4 o'clock. We have Vario above the pinion, and then something I can't read at the bottom of the pinion. But it's fairly simple. There's not a great deal to this one. There's a bit of high polish on the bezel itself, which then transitions into a brushed finish. But most of the rest of the watch is brushed. We have the crown is high polish, and again we do have the Vario V on there as well. Just really nicely done. The case back is screw on, and does have this emblem, which is I think a paper plane. I'm sure there's an origami term for it, but I don't know what it is. But made in Singapore, a little bit of a spec sheet around the side. So those of you that know me know I tend to start with the dislikes, so we're going to go through the dislikes. And I'll start with the second hand. And if you're looking and saying, what second hand? You're kind of spot on. So Vario tell us very helpfully that they have removed the centre second hand as a symbol of de-escalation from war, replacing it with a disc and a contrasting dot that allows the wearer to witness the movement of time while signifying peace and progress, which is very laudable. I like that. I must say, I think that's as good a reason to do it as any. I do think that we shouldn't stifle innovation or innovative thinking, so I think it's great from that perspective. But for me, as a second hand, it just doesn't work, partly because it isn't a second hand, and it only gives you a sense of the passing of time. And actually, I don't think that's what a second hand is there to do. I think a second hand is there to reflect time rather than give you a sense of passing. So for me, that doesn't really work, which is unfortunate. The second one, my second real problem, is actually about the minute track. I kind of feel that the minute track is just too wide, which means that the numerals are quite a long way inside the dial itself. And it's not a big grumble, but I just think it's one of those that actually I think the numerals could be bigger if they were a little bit out, which I think again helps with visibility. But so for me, that's a slight oddity. The third thing was that the strap didn't fit, and I was gutted because these Cordura straps are really good. I have NATO versions of them on one of my Militado watches, and it is absolutely brilliant. But this, because it's a two-piece, it just doesn't fit me. Now, on a normal person's wrist, absolutely no problem. I'm sure this would fit anyone up to 8 inches, but sadly it's not big enough for gorillas, which is a bit of a shame. And which is why when you've seen the shot in the garden, you'll see that it is very different when I get out in the windy garden outside. So that was a bit of a disappointment. And the other one is just a very minor thing, is that putting the solar the sort of solar element of the watch into the rehaut chapter ring means you get this slightly odd looking sort of lump at the 2 position on the chapter rehaut ring, which is just one of the terminals for the solar power, which does look a bit odd if you're staring at the watch like that, but most of the time you can't see it. But that's the gripes. In terms of the greats, In terms of the great, so you all know I love a military style watch, and this one absolutely nails it. Inspired by World War II, the American A11 watch, which was fairly groundbreaking, I think it's fair to say. So I love the style of it. I like this colour, I like the grey. Normally I'm a black dial guy or a blue dial guy, but this one I think works particularly well with that textured dial look. I've never had a watch with this Miyota movement on it before. So really, really nice. The crystal, it's got a flat sapphire crystal, works really well. It's got anti-reflective coating underneath the glass, just really, really good. The loom is pretty decent as well, so I have worn this at night and it does pass the 5 AM test. The numerals disappear quite quickly, but actually the hands itself are quite long lasting, so no problems with that one. And then the final thing is, I just think for a field watch, the level of finishing at this price point is really, really good. There is a little bit of high polish on the bezel. We've got high polish chamfered edges and a high polish crown, and a little bit of high polish on the outside of the case. But it's really good, really subtle. And as I say, I think for a military style watch, for a field watch, I think that's really nice. And I say, I think the solar movement for 4 months charge on 2 hours exposure to direct sunlight, I think is pretty good. And again, an accuracy, this is 20 seconds every month. Pretty accurate, I think. And so those are things I like about it. Okay, so we're going to wrap this one up very quickly and give you my final thoughts. This is a strange one for me. For some reason in my head, I tend to think of Vario watches as being incredibly elegant, like the Empire watch, which is just glorious, and the Empire GMT, or the First World watches, which are kind of so far out of our normal experience that they're just amazing. And this is a more simple, sort of a more modern, for Vario, a more modern style watch. You know, it's not perfect. I don't like the sort of removal of the second hand. It really doesn't work for me. But this is strange. This is the second watch in a row that when I took it out of the box, I wasn't wowed. And it's the second time that as I've worn the watch, it's kind of grown on me. I have found when I changed it out onto this mahogany faux ostrich strap that I think goes really, really well, or not, be interested in your views on that. I have found that I've worn it quite a lot and I have reached for it, and we've always said the test of any watch is, do you reach for it when there are so many other things that you could pick up? Could I recommend it? Do I recommend it to you? I think if you like the style, if you like those sort of military style watches, or at least that vibe, I think I probably can. It depends whether you can put up with there not being a second hand on it or not. There isn't a date variant to this, so if you need a date on your watch, this isn't the one for you. But I think at £150, I think this is pretty good value for that solar movement and that level of finishing. That's it from me. Congratulations to the Red Roses, the England's women's rugby team, on winning the World Cup last week. Fantastic achievement, so proud. Well done, girls. And that's it. Lot more to come. I have a Bernie watch. I have a number of other watches that I just need to get round to reviewing. That's it from me. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the rest of it, and I look forward to seeing you back very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.